There's a work of art in the sky this summer, the most colorful airship you've ever seen.
The tower's surface area is 3 times the size of the Sistine Chapel ceiling and is 14 feet taller than the Statue of Liberty.
Carl's got a cool-looking car this weekend.
Yeah, that looks like all the Sharpie colors.
Look at that airplane.
We just gave a presentation to a national conference on arts and therapy at Stanford University.
If you fly in or out of Long Beach Airport, take a look at this colorful artwork because it'll be hanging on the control tower.
Painting the Eiffel Tower in Paris and the Great Wall in China are among your ambitions.
末には児童を対象にしたアートセラピーが
Has this been approved?
There's several projects that we'll be working in New York.
This witness says that there were flowers painted on the taxi.
We're celebrating 100 years of New York taxis. Kids are painting hoods, roofs, and trunks.
Think of this as a great opportunity to give thousands of kids, many of them sick and disabled, the thrill and pride of creating something that will travel the city streets and be seen by millions.
The project is actually the brainchild of brothers Ed and Bernie Massey, founders of the nonprofit Portraits of Hope. And it's half public art, half social issue education.
Portraits of Hope is a nonprofit that works with thousands of kids and volunteers to transform cityscapes.
Opening the NASDAQ, representatives from Portraits of Hope. Thousands of New York yellow cabs have become mobile museums.
You know, if you're looking around right here outside of the CNN studios, you may notice something interesting about the taxis today.
Flower power has taken over New York's taxis, and you'll see the bright-colored flower murals over the distinct yellow cabs.
But the kids in the hospitals is part of their creative therapy. We bring kids out of isolation, children coming from burn trauma recovery, orthopedic surgeons, and they're really contributing so the whole world gets to see something magnificent.
Many of these kids have been through a tremendous experience, and we can see the pride as to what they're doing.
I like to help out my community a lot.
I'm very, very proud to have this artwork displayed on my cab.
Нью-Йоркские таксисты народ необычайно колоритный.
This
is bright, it's beautiful.
If you're coming to New York, we are going to be in bloom for you guys.
I love it. I mean, the taxis will be in full bloom through the end of December. So head to portraitsofhope.org for all the details.
An ugly Southern California site is about to be turned into something beautiful.
It's a public art project like no other.
Ya después de los 18 años, está en una condición muy mal.
Today, the children at Stanford Hospital had their turn.
Now, the inspiring story of kids making a lasting impression.
Thousands of children will create the largest monument in the West.
35,000 volunteers will have put their mark all over it.
This is a shoe brush for children who can't manipulate a paintbrush in their hand. So they get into the sneaker or the tennis shoe, we put paint on the ground, and they paint wonderfully well. In fact, the children that have their healthy painting hands all want to get into the shoe brush as well.
That's amazing.
Terrific idea.
This historic undertaking was painted by thousands of children battling cancer, blood disorders, heart ailments, burn trauma, chronic illness, and other serious conditions from hospitals all around the United States.
Well, Ed Massey came up with the idea. His organization is called Portraits of Hope, and he is joining us from the site of the Wright Brothers celebration today in Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina.
This is for them, perhaps the first time in their lives that they've been actually engaged in a historical event and something that the whole world can point to with pride and say, hey, those children did that.
So you guys think big. A plane wasn't enough. You had to go for a blimp.
The larger the canvas, the better it is.
This program is about dreaming big, thinking big, and going out and achieving big.
I want to be a doctor. I want to be a family therapist. When I grow up, I want to be a superstar.
Big hopes from little kids, all inspired by a display of dreams cast in red, blue, and green. The Soaring Dreams airship was also co-created, painted, and signed by kids.
Former NASA astronaut Sally Ride is unveiling the world's largest airborne public art project.
I really liked this project because it really makes the kids part of a community, and it makes them see that the things that they can do can make a difference.
Our fantastic aerial views are provided by the AmeriQuest Soaring Dreams airship.
Portrait of Hope is the group that actually had this idea. They've done other works of art across the country and across the world, as a matter of fact.
And here comes Biffle. What color is that car? You name it, it's on there.
And Carl Edwards made a visit to Tennessee High today. He talked about current events and government issues. Edwards will race a special Portrait of Hope car at Bristol's Bush Race.
And the program seems to be an unbelievable thing for his children. Portraits of Hope involves more than just painting. These teenagers are also required to think about social issues and how they, together, can make positive changes.
The first hour is an educational component, and the kids talk about social issues
that are going to confront them in the course of the next couple decades, and these are issues that the president deals with, the governor deals with, or that the New York Times deals with day to day.
We're going to break up the $100 bill. We're going to pretend we're like the head of state, we're like the president. We've got to budget out this money for these different issues. Women's equality, healthcare, national security.
I picked poverty. There are many people living in third world countries that don't have the basic needs like food or water.
I think it's good to help elders. I think relationships.
I want to fight for people that are really innocent. I would want to be a lawyer.
I chose education because not a lot of people in my family went to college, and I want to be one of the first.
Would never have imagined all the issues that have come up.
Our next big initiative we hope to do is a project in space. As a way to promote science education in schools throughout the country and throughout the world and get some of the kids' artworks up in the heavens.